Hey ladies, welcome to Two Peas, One Pod 318. Two women, one friendship. We're your hosts, Felecia and Bonne, two Louisiana women from different sides of the track who have experienced many of the same life challenges and now sharing with you. We want to let you know you're not alone. Grab a cup of coffee, wine, even sweet tea. Sit down with us, relax, sit back, laugh, and have a little fun. Felecia and Bonne, let's talk life challenges for women over 50. Welcome to Two Peas, One Pod 318. We are here to talk a little bit about how we see ourselves, ladies, the best image of oneself. We have some beautiful ladies with us today to talk a little bit about that. I am going to introduce Miss Sparkle Love. She's one of our guests. She's also the founder, the creator, and the brainchild behind House Ministries. She has been preaching, teaching, and motivating women for over 10 years. Sparkle, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do?
Yes, it is an honor to be here. First off, let me say this. So what I do, I guess you can say I am the sparkle, I am the shine, I'm the light, I'm the diamond. That's who I am in a rough. So I've been buffed out, unbelievable. And being buffed comes with a lot of pain. Everybody don't want to be buffed because it doesn't feel good. So coming up with the Dollhouse Ministry, it was something, I guess, like growing up in a spiritual household. So wanting to live a different life other than spiritual, or ministry, that, kind of things. Everybody don't really want to do the church thing. You want to fit in with the crowd because the crowd is better than church. Church is boring. So when you're growing up, when you're a teenager, you're not really into that. So coming from that, wanting to experience the lights, cameras, action, which was so fun to do. When you are in that light, it's like your adrenaline just go and you just like, I can do anything. Freedom is amazing. So that's what it's like. So realizing that wasn't really what it is. So remembering church, remembering God, remembering the family. And when you experience different heartbreak in life, that kind of draws you back to what you remember who loved you first, which is God. So the Dollhouse came from heartbreak. That's what it came from. And so realizing that the little girl in me, she lives. It's a little girl inside of everybody, but how do you even know she exists if you're too busy trying to live a life of being an adult? So I had to pause and try to heal the little girl in me. So when you think of a little girl, you think of tea parties, the Dollhouse. So that's where that came from, the Dollhouse, because the little girl in me was still alive, and she was amazing.
I love that. Well, you actually have a little bit more to your story, which we'll get into. But the other P, Bonne, you want to introduce
Hey,
the second
everybody,
guest?
how you doing? Yeah, oh, wave. My friend, Susan Curtin, who is the host of our local KTAL TV6 Living Loving Local, she's also a film producer, many films, award-winning films. She's also a professional actress. And one of the things I love about her, she's a fantastic hostess of parties at her house as well.
There you go.
So we're here with her today as we talk about body image.
Thank you. I'm really pleased to be there. I want to know why you have a glass of wine and we don't have a glass of wine. That seems so wrong to
It
me.
snuck here, flew in here from nowhere.
It's fine. It's fine. I won't bring it up. I love what you said, though, Sparkle, about being buffed and how that's not always a pleasant experience, right? It's like the story of the potter and the clay.
Yes.
What the potter has to go through. You get this lump of clay and you have to fire it and you have to knead it and stretch it, and that's not pleasant. But what comes out of that is something beautiful. So pain does make us beautiful.
Yes, very much so.
Absolutely.
You can't get a diamond without going
And
through
I've known Susan for
Yes.
15 years, I guess, 15, 20 years. And I've seen her transition. She's always a beautiful lady, but to me, she's more beautiful now than she's ever been.
That's so sweet of you.
She's done just well, her positivity, everything about her. So glad she's here. And together we are a force of fabulousness.
I like that. I like being a force of fabulousness.
Well, one of the reasons we wanted to bring on these beautiful ladies is that we realize women go through phases in their lives, should we say. Phases where they judge themselves, other people have judged them, they allow people to tell them who they are, who they should be, all of these things. So our image of ourselves, depending on where we are in our life, changes. So the reason it was important to me to have Sparkle tell her story is that as a beautiful woman, as a woman growing up in the South, as a woman who may be perceived differently, as she says, she grew up in a house of ministry, her life took a turn. And with that turn, you can tell them where that turn led you and how you may have seen yourself and why you started that phase of your life and how you got to where you are now.
So the turn that you're talking about is I became an exotic dancer only because it was something I saw. One of my aunties, she was in California, and I had the opportunity to go to California. So when you're in the South, you don't really see that there. It's not too glamorous. It's more country, in the South, so to speak. So I get the opportunity and I get to go to California, and my auntie was like, she was like Hollywood famous. She had the body, the boobs, the small petite waist, and her bottom was like everything. And so she was that. And I saw the glamorous of the limos and the different jewelry that she had and her shoes. I wanted to do what she did because that life looked amazing. Who wouldn't want that? I want to say I was 22 and I just did it. The Hustler came down to Shreveport, Larry Flinch. I am oblivious to how to actually do it, but I was a model. I model. I was in beauty pageants all my life. That's because that's the only activity I was able to do because my family's church. So coming from the church and trying to sneak and do things, that was like crazy because it's like when I got into that life, it was beautiful, it was fun, but also it became dangerous because people were calling me to do private parties. And private parties, I did not know, being naive, thinking I'm grown and thinking I know what I'm doing because of what I've seen somebody else do. Private parties, when you are out there, bachelor parties and all of that, they have different intentions for you not to just dance. They want to actually be intimate. So me knowing it's no way in the world that I can possibly be intimate with all these people. Are you crazy? So I had to sneak out of the window. God sent another gentleman that saw the fear in my eyes and he said, "You don't want to do this, do you?" And I said, "No." He said, "I'm going to get you out of here, but I need you to listen to my instructions." I have no idea who he is. I couldn't tell you his name. I couldn't even pick him out in a lineup if you asked me to. He said, "What I'm going to do, I'm going to tell them that you're getting dressed and I want you to go to the back room. I've already unlocked the window and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to pull you through the window and we're going to get in the car and go." That was the turning point for me to where I said, I am going to leave this life alone because the life is bigger than me and it is about to swallow me whole. And that's not a place that I know I want to be. I wanted to dance because the money was good and it felt good to be admired. My body was beautiful and I wanted to show it off. My body was everything. And so it's like, that just wasn't what it was. And I can hear God saying, "Come to me." And I felt like I was so unworthy. I felt dirty. I felt, unclean and I just didn't feel like because I did so much wrong, there's no way I can come to him. And so the thing is, it's like really coming to a place to just saying, "You know what, God, I love you." Hearing the naysayers saying, "No, you can't preach, you can't be in the ministry because of what you've already done." And that hurted me. So I fell back. I didn't want to accept my calling to talk to other women about the different experience that I've experienced because I was too afraid. I was going to get judged. Nobody wants to be judged. And that's what it is. When you don't really know what a person has experience of gone through, you don't know how they're feeling. But you're so quick to judge a book before you actually read it. You just, you're looking at the cover, oh, it's not good enough. And you have no clue. So those are kind of the different things that made me turn from that because of the fear of what my life could have happened. I could have been raped, and who knows, the rape could have went further along and I could have died. I don't know, but my life flashed before my eyes and I knew that is something I needed to run from and never turn back.
The biggest thing that I take from what you tell me in your story is that you wanted to be beautiful. You wanted to be seen beautiful. You wanted to be in the life that you thought was everything.
Yes.
And so what you did was you ran from where you were raised in a house of God
Yes.
to a house of money and entertainment and
Yes.
all these things. And I think a lot of little girls grow up thinking lights, camera, action
Yes.
is what they want.
Yes.
But they don't
yes.
realize what comes with that
That's
life.
true.
And I think with that glamour, because you're always looking at actors and actresses, and they always look so beautiful, and they're a size 0. You're looking for an ideal that you may never be able to get to. And I think that's a struggle, especially with women over 50 years old. We want to still be beautiful in our own way. It comes down to our mental aspect and what we're happy with and what we can do to stay young.
And we're willing to make a lot of sacrifices to be called beautiful.
Right.
Yes.
And I think the thing that is very difficult for women is that we want to be called beautiful by other people.
That's true.
Well, but your body changes over time, right?
Absolutely.
And so,
Yes.
you know, when I was very, very young, people thought I was very pretty and all of that. And then you get older and you start having children and your body changes. A lot of things change. And all of a sudden you start taking the emphasis off of yourself and you start putting it onto other people. Well, I need to be this person and I'm this person's wife and now this person's mother. And your sense of yourself gets lost somewhere in there and you start to forget who you are. And I think, you know, just like you, there are a lot of people who can lose their way in search of that approval or,
Yes.
you know, that sense of who they are. But there are people who get lost along the way doing very noble things. It happens to them too.
That's true.
I come from beauty and fashion entertainment, and yours is a makeup artist. I've worked with models, and one of the things I hear from them that I heard from Sparkle, they still want to be beautiful. It doesn't matter if they are a size 2 or a size 22, living in New York or Shreveport, Louisiana. If you don't have a good, strong, confident opinion of yourself from beginning, you're not going to have it even if you're in New York walking the runway. And these women still are honest when you're talking to them. How could you not see yourself as beautiful? How could you not feel, you know, what everybody is seeing? Because you're on the face of magazines and you're on television. But a broken woman is still broken regardless of what she's doing or where she is in life.
I think it's interesting, Oprah, I saw her on TV the other day, and she started a whole new focus on her life at 72 years old about body image and how she still, at her age, is still worried about her body image a lot. Just think who she is.
Absolutely.
So I think it's wonderful that she's come out with a whole program about loving yourself.
We women are so hard on ourselves, right?
Yes.
And we're sort of taught that. We were raised in a society that puts women up to be, you know, objectified, right? And so we're supposed to be sex objects. We're supposed to wear makeup. Men will tell you they don't want you to do that, but then when you don't do that, they don't pay attention to you.
Absolutely.
And they ask you if you're sick, and you know, so it's the expectation is there. But we have to learn to define ourselves in other ways. I mean, having physical beauty, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's wonderful. I was in a job where I didn't see anybody for a really long time. I was a benefits consultant. I was behind a desk. Most of my meetings were Zoom meetings.
I remember that.
And I put on some pounds, and I clocked in at 190 or something like that, and it did not look good on me. It looks great on some people. It didn't on me. And, you know, it's funny because when I got asked to do this job, my first question was to them, like, but I'm 59 and I'm not thin. Like, what if they hate me? That was my first thought. And my boss, thank goodness, was a wonderful man. He first of all, they're not going to hate you. He's like, you're beautiful as you are. People will relate to you. You have stories to tell. You're interesting, and they're going to love that. And through his belief in me, I found myself again. And through doing the show, I mean, obviously I show up in front of a camera and it's HD TV and lights, and I'm like, I got to pick up my game, right? So I start caring again about how I look. And I actually feel more comfortable in my skin at 62 than I have ever felt in my life.
I said that on another podcast. I'm the happiest I've been about myself in my whole life right now. I'm happy with myself.
Well, for me, I think I'm happy with myself, but it's not because I've lost over 250 pounds. And I talk about when I was 450 to where I am now. For me, it was about losing the mental anguish and things that I was going through.
Absolutely.
I think if I had been this person mentally that I was at 450, I still could have found myself to be happy. I may not have been physically where I wanted to be, but I think I would have been in a better mental space because I've learned to do the work and I've learned to love myself mentally. And I think that's where we as women struggle. We don't start here, we start
true.
here with the
Absolutely.
exterior body instead
Absolutely.
of the interior mind.
And we're so hard on each other. You know what I mean? We need to be nice to each other, right? We can't be
Yes.
mean girls and not be so judgy of each
Yes.
other. Be more accepting and positive. And, there are so many different body types out there, and they're all beautiful.
Yes.
They're all
Yes.
beautiful. But
Yes.
when I was going through, a certain time in my life, I started to feel not viable, started to feel, kind of down and like, what do I have to look forward to? And I went to see a therapist, and the therapist was so helpful because, first of all, she asked me, what do you look for in another person? When you're looking at other people, what are you focused on when you want to get a friend, or if you're attracted to somebody, what are you looking at? And of course, my answers are their personality, the way they carry themselves, their sense of style. It's all of this stuff. And she said, you don't even hold other people to the same beauty standard that you hold yourself to.
Wow.
And she said, I guarantee you, you should be a fly on my wall. You will find men in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and on that will find you attractive.
Wow.
So, don't focus on that. There's more to you than your face and your body.
Absolutely. I have to echo that because people continue to tell me that. I have a therapist. Same thing. And she talks to me about how people see me and me being more, I guess, accepting of other people's flaws while not giving myself grace, even accepting one of my flaws.
Yes.
So it is a constant work when you look in the mirror to realize what you see is the best version of yourself, and it doesn't have to change to be acceptable to others.
You gotta love yourself.
Absolutely.
You have to.
You have to be your own best
you have to
friend.
like yourself.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
like if God gave you beauty, you know what I mean? And so why wouldn't he want you to flaunt it? Why
That's
wouldn't he
true.
want for people to see
Right.
the jewel that he created?
And I love that because it's like we are a display. He display us daily, so but what are we displaying? What are we implementing? And that's just kind of where I am. So when people see me, I want to leave a little sparkle behind. When they even know my name, they're like, oh my God, that's so cute. That's so sweet. And I love that. And I want to be all of that. But when I see myself, sometimes, as you were saying, I didn't think I was beautiful because I felt like I did so much bad, and because I kept letting the naysayers speak to me. Even when I felt I was beautiful, sometimes when you don't hear the compliment, you forget that you are really beautiful. But I was wanting the compliment. And so I realized, you know what? Let me do to others what I want to be done to me. So when I see another woman, I always say, yes, ma'am, you are gorgeous. You better do. So I'm quick to compliment another woman because I'm not intimidated about who I am. I will give you the credit. I will salute you. And I'm hoping other people will catch that on. Salute the next woman. It'll make you feel good.
I do that all the
So
time.
true.
I
So true.
love complimenting women.
My mother
you know.
always used to say that. Everybody
Yeah.
loves a compliment, whether
Yeah.
it's, that blue looks so beautiful on
Absolutely,
you. Or,
absolutely.
whatever the compliment is,
Absolutely.
everybody appreciates
That
it.
makes them feel good about themselves too.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you said something earlier, Susan, when you talked about the mean girl. I think sometimes we as women, when we're at our most insecure, instead of us trying to get the positive and stay in a positive headspace, we like to say the negative to someone else. We like to be the mean girl. That's where that bullying, even at 50 and 60 years old, that we did at 15
Yes,
and 16,
that's right.
still comes out. And it's jealousy. It's simple jealousy. It's nothing else. But instead of embracing and asking that other woman about what she's accomplished, how she's accomplishing it, and allowing her to teach and pour into you and helping you become your best version, you decide to chip away at her.
That's so true. And also, modeling behavior for your daughters and for the younger people in your life. It's so important that they don't see you cutting yourself down. I did that to my daughter my whole life. I was like, oh, I don't look good, or oh, look at my hair, or, oh, this dress makes me look fat. And it's only been in the last few years that I recognized that I was doing those things. And I passed it on to her, and she does it to herself. So we are both now in that mind frame that every time we hear anything like that from one another, we've made a pact, we are going to call each other out on it. We're going to stop right then and there, and we're going to talk about what's good. We're going to focus on what's good rather than what's bad, because we can be so hard on ourselves, like I said from the beginning, and that's the worst thing to show young people, because it shows them they need to be self-conscious too. So as grown adult women who, have something to say, I think we have a message we could.
I think as
get out.
a sex, the female sex, we're horribly judgmental on ourselves.
Yeah.
We're judgmental of other females too. You don't see men doing stuff like that.
Right.
It's just, I don't know if it's part of our culture or what.
I
Right.
love what you said. At the end of whatever, when I go and speak all over the world and I talk about the dollhouse, I always tell ladies, be the doll that you would want your daughter to play with. And that's what it is. I want my daughters to see me as the doll that they would want to play with. So I wear the shoes, I put on the makeup, I do the hair, I put the jewelry on because I want them to see me. Like, I don't want them to look at another woman and say, oh, well, Mom, I want to be like her. No, Mom, I want to be like you. Set the tone, especially if you are a mother, and then if you're not, set the tone for another lady or another little girl. That's how I feel.
And be happy for somebody else
That's
and their
true.
thing. This is your thing. That's your thing. Like,
Yes.
don't judge. It's okay.
Exactly, because we've all gone through something,
Right.
and we all coming up the ladder. So let's just do it together. We're better together anyway.
I love that.
Sparkle, you keep mentioning the dollhouse and you talk about the little girl, and that's something I can say also in therapy that I've talked about. Lots of times a broken woman comes from a broken child, a broken girl. And if you don't start putting the pieces together and sealing those fragments, you're going to become a broken woman and stay that broken woman.
That's true.
So for me, what I've tried to learn to do, even in relationships, I find my best relationships or friendships people that I feel safe enough
Yes.
to allow that little girl to even come out.
Yes.
Because as a type A woman, having staff, having managers, having all the bills and the responsibility of owning my own business, what I realized it did to me, it really made me angry because I was responsible for everybody and everything except for my own happiness. I forgot how to make myself happy because I didn't grow up making myself happy.
Wow.
So now I realize I work on myself. I remind myself that I'm not that same broken little girl, but I also put myself around people that I feel safe enough to let her come out.
It's like having that tea party.
Right.
When you have a tea party, you want your friends to partake into that. Get the cookie, get the tea, let's dress up, and let's have fun. So
I feel an event coming on. An inner girl tea party.
I have a feeling tea number 2 is going to have tea
Like
number
that
1.
tea, I'm so in.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do. And put on your gloves and let the little girl in you come out and play. And I think sometimes we're so adult and we're so responsible for so much. As you said, you forgot about you. You forgot about the little girl. She still exists. If you exist, she exists.
Absolutely.
And you have to heal the little girl inside you too, because
do.
I'm the same thing. I had a lot of bizarre things happen growing up that were not my fault, but I took the blame for it. And it just took me a while to get over that and say, I wasn't the cause of that. I wasn't the cause of that. But it took me a while. I just healed myself and moved on.
Well, you knew my mother.
Oh,
And
yes,
my mother was a
yes.
glamour queen until she was 97 years old and finally passed. I mean, she
my kind of
just
girl.
she loved the jewelry, anything sparkly.
She
you
was
would've gotten along
she was
so
a
well.
Southern belle.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
She loved
yes.
everything sparkly, but she grew up with a certain idea of beauty, and it was very traditional. And she would let me know every day. I'm in a play, right? And I'm going through the receiving line. Everybody's like, "Good job, good job, good job." I get to my mother, and she goes, "Never wear white hose on stage again." And I was like, "Okay, thanks, Mom." And she'd be like, "Your eyes look a little dry. You've been using eye cream," and like she just was always like, And
Oh
one
my
time
gosh.
she
Yes,
she
I
told
know
a friend
it.
of mine who I love. She's like, my friend was very depressed, and she came over to talk about it. My mom was there, and so she talked, and she kind of told her story. And my mom said, "Do you know what I think would make you feel so much better? If you got your nose done, you would be a new person." I did.
I would have fallen out.
It's just always like, it was always about the physical
Yeah.
beauty, and that's how I grew up. I had
yeah.
to heal that
Oh, yeah.
within myself to learn.
Absolutely.
I'm more than my body. I'm more than my face.
Yes.
I'm not going to put my daughter through that.
And our
I'm not
mothers are
gonna
who we
keep
hold
that
up
cycle
here.
going.
Absolutely.
They make for great stories.
Yes.
My mom would always tell me, and I adored my mother, she was fabulous, "You're not a traditional beauty, you're a handsome girl." And to hear that when you're 5 and 6 and 7 years old,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, thanks, Mom.
I need a glass of wine after that.
I'll join you.
Yes, we all have Southern moms. Those Southern Belle moms were raised that way. And they clutch the pearls, but they will give you that compliment that will cut you so deep that
It's
you're
called
not
a
sure if it's
backhanded compliment.
It's called a-
Yeah, yeah.
It's the way we grew up.
Wow.
You know, I have friends that grew up in the North and grew up in the places, and their relationship with their mom, they have the challenges, but it's a little different. But I'm listening to the two of you guys, and I love my mom, but I was in Weight Watchers at 9. You know, I was growing up in a house where, you know, I was that overweight kid, and I had a sister and a mom who were absolutely gorgeous, very thin, and
Yes,
she would be like,
yes.
you don't need that whole biscuit. Let's just cut that in half. You know, no,
yes.
nothing for you after
Yes.
7. Let's just get a little water and go.
And that
eat.
creates a worse problem.
It does.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
situation was different. My mom was, getting stuff out of Spiegels from back in the day and making sure I had to fly.
I haven't heard of Spiegels in forever.
Listen,
Oh
when
my
I
gosh.
saw that
Oh my gosh.
That my comforter, my wallpaper was on all my children, honey. I thought I was going on. I don't care what
All my
nobody say.
children.
Listen, I can remember
Phoebe
it was
Cunningham, come
pearl
on.
and yellow flowers and like blue ribbons, and it was on all my children. I said, I have that bedspread in my. You couldn't tell me nothing, and I think my mom built my self-esteem. My sisters built my self-esteem because I'm seeing things on television that I actually have, and that's not normal. I go to my friend's house; they don't have that, so mine was a little different.
So
I
maybe
didn't
you
hear
were their dog.
that's what I'm telling you, and maybe that's kind of what it is. Now, I never heard the words "I love you." Only when I was disciplined, not because I achieved something. Now, so it's a little different for me.
Interesting.
So my confidence was there, but I wanted to hear the words. So the first person that said the words, they only said it to get something out of me. So that's the rabbit hole I took.
Right.
So when a man told you something of that you've been yearning to heal,
Yes.
so that's where you gravitated to.
Yes.
And that was another reason you may have been comfortable going in
Yes.
the direction in which you
Exactly. So the mothers play the part,
Right.
to heal the little girl, to break the little girl, or to push the little girl. It starts with the mom.
Well, it sounds like you had a mother who loved you, which is great. And, a lot of people have very, very fractured relationships with their mothers, and they never heard those words, or every word was met with a backhanded compliment or something like that. My parents were always very demonstrative of me, very supportive of anything I did, and they told me they loved me a lot. But it was always that focus on beauty. My dad was like, your hair needs to shine, and you need to be physically fit. And, he was a Marine. And so,
that's
you had to
pressure.
keep yourself together and be, very put together all the time. I mean, you grow up with these ideals. You can't shake them. Like, a lot of times you can't shake them. But I do think it's about how you can reframe it. You can re-identify yourself. I mean, over time, you can take charge of it and make sure that you're not being defined by other people. You define yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it starts with what we keep saying. You have to like yourself, love yourself, and then you can define yourself. Because if you don't do those things, I think you just listen to all the naysayers and everything else, and that's all you hear.
And I like the term reframe yourself, because I think in our second half of our lives, we are reframing ourselves
Yes, we
mentally, physically, and even how we dress. I hate the phrase dress your age. I don't want to wear a black dress up here down to the floor. I want to wear something that shows a little cleavage or a little leg. It's okay. It doesn't
We're
look
not our
horrible.
mothers.
We're not, yeah.
50, 60
I
year
get
olds,
that so much,
Yeah.
because I do go out and I minister. So I'm supposed to cover myself accordingly. I understand, but when I'm not on the platform, I want to be myself. I'm not walking around with a robe all day long. I'm human. When I go to the beach, I want to put on my two-piece.
And
I
that's
want to
great.
put it on.
Don't look at me.
I know.
I will not be put
And if
see, I
it's
did it.
time
I
for me
did
to
it.
minister,
There you go.
I do
There
it,
you go.
But yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it. So.
Well, I think, ladies, that we've basically encouraged other people, but I think we remember to encourage ourselves.
Yes.
Because I listened to everybody's story up here, and I think it was a way for me to say, hey, I'm not too bad. I'm doing pretty good. I've come a long way.
I look at all of us and where we've come in life and where we are now, and I think we're all successful in our own way. So, and there's still more success to come.
Yes, it is.
I think we're all the best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
I think each of
I
us
agree.
can realize where we were. And a lot of people will live, oh my God, I lived my glory days. I think we're living our glory days.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Absolutely. And we talked about this whole program, why we started the podcast was to give positivity to other women over 50 years old. That what they're feeling is also felt by us as well. We're all going through the same thing.
The more you talk about things like this, the more it makes other people feel included and not left out.
Yes.
And like they're not crazy, because women are often made to feel crazy for what they think or what they feel.
Absolutely.
So, you were not crazy. It's this is a thing. It happens. All women go through it. And it's just important to remember you're more than your parts, right?
love
You're
it.
so
Oh, wow.
much more than
I
that.
love it.
I
You
love
all
it.
have blessed me because I'm 47. So I'm looking forward
You're a
to
baby.
I know.
But to hear the story, you're giving me hope, and I can't wait to get there, and you're just letting me know there's still life at 50
Oh, and it's
And 60. And almost 70.
and 80.
Past that, I don't know, but I'm gonna say
My mother's 80, so let me go ahead and tell you. I
Okay.
know she is the best version of herself every day. Like, I look at my mother, and it's not that she just looks like she's 20 years younger. She is still living her life like she's
She's got
she
it
finds
together.
Purpose,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
When you stop
Fantastic.
finding purpose, I think that's when the problem. It's not the age. It's finding your purpose for your
And
next
that's one of our
really-
topics that'll be probably next season is that. Social circles and that. I think it's great.
Well, this has been 2 Ps, 1 Pod, 318. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in. And I have been Felecia, and she has been.
Sparkle love.
I'm Benet.
Susan Curtin. And now you know who you are.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to 2 Ps, 1 Pod 318, and we hope you found a little humor, some wisdom, and a lot of heart. Remember, no matter where you come from, we are all just trying to make sense of the world for us ladies over 50 living the second half of our lives. Please connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and we would love to hear from you.